if you go back, as far as I go back, and I was a child prodigy at the time, people like Emmet Ashford, people like me, we had to go through a lot of stuff. When I went to Notre Dame, I was the only black on the basketball team for 4 years. I was the only black in any class that I attended for 4 years. Emmet Ashford, working the minor leagues and probably in some southern areas and everything, was the only black around. So he's out there, and not only was he black, but he was clean, and he was animated. So, you know, to a lot of people, to a lot of white people, here's this black buffoon. But Emmet was not a black buffoon. Emmet went to Chapman College. He was an educated man, but he insisted in bringing life. He would breathe life into anything around him. If he came to talk to you, he would ask about you. And where'd you get those shoes? That's a mighty nice tie you got there. You should have gotten two so I could wear one, you know? That's Emmet. I loved him. When I first met Emmet Ashford, I was playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. And Emmet, of course, having been a referee or whatever you want to call it in basketball, in college basketball, would come to Laker games and come into the locker room. So I knew of Emmet Ashford then. And Emmet was always animated, effusive, you know. Hawk, how you doing? You know, he'd say that. Nice game tonight. Could have played a little better defense. You know, that was Emmet, you know. He was always there, and you were always happy to see Emmet. You know, I was a young disciple of Jackie Robinson, and I was always a barrier breaker. Well, here I am going down to Anaheim Stadium. I'm the only black reporter down there on the field, and the only black reporter down there with a white camera crew. so you couldn't miss me. You couldn't miss me. I'm down there. And then when there's somebody besides the players that I could interview, and who I knew in Emmet Ashford, you know, I could go up and hug him and say, Emmet, how you doing? And talk to him and know that he's going to give me the best that he's got, because he wanted to be featured in all of his essence. And he had presence and essence. So it would always be some, oh, I got a piece on Emmet Ashford that you could take back. And back then, we shot everything in 16 positive color film. You shot it, you gave it to the courier, he put it in his backpack on his motorcycle, he hustled it back to the studio to develop the film. You would come back to the studio, the film would come out of the developing room, and then you'd stand over the editor and you'd tell the editor, I'd have 2 seconds of this, 3 seconds of that, and you put it together. And I became a professional under the tutelage of Ross Porter. Right? So I knew what I was doing. I became a journalist. I could write. Brad Pye taught me how to write as a journalist. I could edit film, and I could be on air presence because Ross Porter had taught me that. And there were a lot of people in my background who got me there. And Emmet Ashford used to say to me, boy, I gave you my best shot. I'm gonna make you look as good as you can possibly look. You know, he was always keeping you on. You know, he would touch your nerve endings. He would find out where he was and he would touch it. You know, back in the day and here in the United States, And I'm one of the few people that can bridge what was then and what is now. There was a black network of newspapers. The Baltimore Afro-American, the New York Amsterdam, the Chicago Defender, the Pittsburgh Courier, and here on the West Coast, it was the Los Angeles Sentinel. And we had people like Wendell Smith back in the Midwest and everything. He was one of the keys of promoting Jackie Robinson. And here on the West Coast, it was Brad Pye Jr. Brad Pye Jr. was a man. And there was no one like Brad Pye Jr. Everywhere Brad Pye Jr. went, he was the only black journalist there covering it for a major newspaper. And for Brad Pye Jr. to come and befriend me and bring me into his circle and say, you're a Notre Dame graduate, I know you can write, so why don't you do this? It was absolutely incredible. And Brad Pye Jr. and I have always had a close relationship because we go way back, as they say on the corner. And we have experienced a lot of different things. You know, when Jackie Robinson died, the morning after, all of the baseball-related people came to Dodger Stadium to pay their respects to the organization. Jackie died when he was 53 years old. You know, he's a relatively young man. Among the people who came to Dodger Stadium was Emmet Ashford. And I interviewed Emmet at that time. And he had so much to say about Jackie. And as I sit here and reflect on everything that was going down, Jackie started off everything because he broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball in 1947. He was an instrument and a mentor to Emmet Ashford, who was then coming through minor league baseball and going through what he had to go through racially as the only black umpire on the scene. And then there comes Tommy Hawkins, who is breaking the color barrier in broadcasting at KNBC locally and at NBC on the network. And then there is Brad Pye, who was covering all of this for the LA Sentinel. And all of us had in common a mentor by the name of Jackie Robinson, who helped us break barriers in our respective areas, open the door for other people of color, and left it open. So I'm in a pioneering mood right now. And I remember Emmet Ashford as one of the ultimate pioneers.